obviously above and beyond what he already had. I can't imagine him asking for information he can find in his own file cabinet.
Yeah, that would be surprising.
Yeah, that's what I thought. In regard to your inter-office memo, and then I'm just kind of going in order here of what I see. Third paragraph, it states that the agreement proposes the contractor be compensated with current gate fees plus a monthly subsidy paid by the county to the contractor, and an increase in the rates for garbage collection in the franchise collection area to be additionally subsidized the contract for the cost of operating a publicly owned solid waste transfer site. That's not what I read in his information. In fact, I think Supervisor Pinch has just alluded to that. The COVALO, yes, because there's a long-standing policy of this board. But I didn't see that anywhere else. In fact, what I saw was a potential lowering of those rates. I didn't see anything along the lines of I want a subsidy on every transfer station. So I'm not sure that statement is accurately portrayed there. And in regard to the buyback centers, now I'm a resident of Potter. Now Ukiah may be within our reach, to use your words, but I'll tell you what, it's a pain in the neck to haul my recyclables all the way into Ukiah just to get a few bucks back, and at $4.50 a gallon for diesel, doesn't take me long to make that a losing proposition. There are a lot of folks who don't have the ability to leave Potter, and having a transfer station right there in the valley in a buyback center, to me, is customer service and what we should be doing. Not thinking, well, hey, just drive 20 miles and deliver it that way. That doesn't work. I'm not sure. I kind of take exception at that statement. But your document here says that this is a worthy goal. However, it is not shown how this will reduce net county cost. I don't think the buyback center is designed to reduce net county costs. It's designed to provide a service to the constituency, to the residents, a buyback service. Not designed to reduce our costs. It's designed to help our residents. And then, however, any company is welcome to engage in the enterprise of a buyback center anywhere in the county where the zoning is allowed. So, can Joe Smith just walk in and put a buyback center on the transfer site? I don't think so. I think there's a process we have to go through. I think that's kind of what we're looking at here.
Well, that might be a possibility, is to have the county operate buyback centers. It's a little tight, as I said, at Potter Valley. It's a little tight at Boonville to try to operate buyback centers. These are hillside congested sites. But if the board wished for the county to get into the business of buyback centers, we could explore that, particularly with redemption cards, where you might have a magnetic card that you would charge at the county site and then be able to spend it at, say, the Anderson Valley Market, or, well, there's not much in Potter Valley, but at some stores. It's possible we could get into the private business of buyback centers, but that's largely been a private enterprise.
Thank you. That I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The solid, this is on page 2, in regard to bullet number 3 in Jerry's proposal. The solid waste supervisor and field assistant require only 1 week per quarter. 1 week per quarter to complete the field monitoring of the 3 landfills in Mendocino County. In the next paragraph, it talks about if this takeover, as you use 13 times in this document, 5 in 1 paragraph, if this takeover, the county may be put in a position of having to hire out to consultants the landfill monitoring as a result. Well, if it's only taking us 1 week a quarter, I think we could probably squeeze that into our timeline somewhere, and rather than go out and hire a consultant. I'm a little concerned about either I'm misreading this or it was miswritten.
What he means is that employee that fulfills those duties is with the conducting business at the existing county collection centers, has a job for the rest of those weeks. Where if you remove that portion of their job, then we're left with parts of a job. In other words, there's an overall efficiency, Supervisor Delbar, in the operation as it stands. If we change that, and I haven't been able to decide whether we're deciding to change the county operation for a philosophical reason or for hard facts as far as private sector would do this better. I've actually, you know, I'm not an expert in this. I've talked to some of my colleagues about it. Sonoma County has a privatization process they're looking at right now, but they're basically going to sell the whole 9 yards so that the county won't have any monitoring responsibilities or anything else. Now, that would be another thing to look at, but that's what I'm saying. From what Solid Waste of Willits presented, it seems like there's a lot of questions there that we took our best stab at answering, but we're not sure. That's why I'm anxious to hear, you know, it kind of get filled in, you know, just what is it we're trying to do here? Because all we really have to look at is what we're already doing in Laytonville and Covelo, where it's basically nominal rent, if not any, and in Covelo a subsidy. So we extrapolate that. That's the best we can do.
There were two positions that the proposal was proposing to eliminate, and one of them was the South Coast equipment operator. Well, that's also the individual who, during the winter times, pumps the leachate from our 3 landfills. So he has 2 jobs, but if we lose him at the transfer stations, then we also lose him from pumping the leachate at the landfills. So that's the problem there. Also, we have a maintenance supervisor that takes care of our landfills, but he also takes care of some of the transfer stations. So when you lose him at the transfer stations, you lose him at the landfills. And when it's all put together, you know, it hangs together. But as you remove pieces, then what we'll have is a collapse, which may not be a bad thing. It's just we'll need to hire more consultants and more contractors as a result. That's my point to the board.
Well, I guess my first read of this is trying to figure out what the landfills have to do with this, because Sonoma County is the whole 9 yards. We're talking 9 feet here, not 9 yards of our process.
Wow.
And what's left, it's a very good question. And to me, we just have to hire out consultants. I'm not sure I buy that right off the bat. I'd like to see what we can do with the staff that we have. If you've got 2 guys each spending part-time on landfill and a part-time on the transfer stations, and you lose one of those positions, maybe one can do all the landfill stuff. I don't have those answers, and I don't know if you do at this point in time either, but I want to hear how this plays out. I'm just a little concerned about what in this memo and how I read it. Clearly, I'm not really, what do I want to say here? I'm not sure this memo addresses what I thought staff was going to do, and that was kind of give us more of an analysis of what the proposal could do. And what I see here is a pretty, for lack of better words, slanted analysis. And I'm not sure it really accomplishes any goals other than express an opinion of, I hope not the department.
Well, Supervisor Delbar, I'll take responsibility for that. Deputy Director Miller didn't spend a lot of time on this, which I thought were our instructions from the last time we were before the board. Put it together, maybe it comes across as being perception, but frankly, when I read Solid Waste of Willits' proposal, it seemed to be a lot of accolade and perception as well, and as you pointed out, pointing fingers at the solid waste division for our shortcomings. So if we want to move past a philosophical discussion, then maybe the board needs to allocate some resources. We can have some real professionals come in and analyze this, because, you know, our staff has a job to do. They didn't have a tremendous amount of time other than what Mr. Miller did. So I'll take responsibility for that. I asked him to do his regular job and fit this in as he could.
Which supervisor?
Go ahead,
Kendall. Supervisor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I'd like to, through the chair, I'd like to shift gears a little bit here. Still on the topic of solid waste.